Noob D&D Dad here, and we are talking about session 35 of my son's campaign that I am the Noob DM for in the Dragon of Icespire Peak. So in session 35, we are finishing the Woodland Manse, this place, which is a really fun big map with a lot of different kinds of bad guys on it. So since there's a lot to track and there's a lot of different bad guys in different rooms, I ended up just writing down like a list of all the bad guys and then just tallying them off as the players killed them so I could keep track of them. So the players made their way over to W5 and they're in there, and my notes on it are like that they hear yelling and smell smoke, because if you remember, the building is in the process of burning down. And one thing I think is interesting is where combat happens. Like sometimes as a DM I can control it, but other times like the players are just going around and I'm like, okay, you're here, so the bad guys are here, can they hear you? You know, do you hear them? And then where they end up meeting up and actually exchanging blows. And so in that little room I just showed, the players are in there and there's a whole bunch of bad guys just through the door into that courtyard, which means there's like a bottleneck, which is actually bad for both sides if they try to go through. And I end up just giving either side like the advantage that the terrain would give them, even though biased wise I may want to give it to the other. So for example, the bad guys have to come through this door in a bottleneck, and so the players are all just with their back against the wall, which is a little bit precarious, but they have a lot of firepower. So the bad guys are coming through this door and they're just like eliminating them. And one thing about the vine blights, these guys, look at them all viney like. So when they finally die, I like to have all their vines just like turn into, like instead of being like animated like they're alive, I like to have them just fall down in a pile, like a pile of spaghetti being dropped on a plate, just like. And that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about DMing, is just being able to come up with descriptions, like a pile of spaghetti landing on a plate like that, and just put it in their heads and just see how they react to it. I usually know it's a good description if my wife gets mad at me. Because it's like too gross or weird, and then the players are laughing. She's like, ah. So at this point, the fighter character, which is the cousin, has this +2 sword, right, and he's killing stuff, but he rolls a natural 1 to hit something, and I actually had him lose the sword. Like he swings it and it just flies out of his hand and he just hears it clatter down on the floor. And so the building is burning and there's a lot of bad guys, and it's like the only thing in his head is that he wants to go find that sword. But I thought that was a cool natural 1 thing to do. I mean, maybe that's rude to take away such a key weapon, but I mean, a natural 1, like that, something's got to happen. What are some fun things you do with natural 1s, or terrible things that have happened to you by rolling a natural 1? So this map has a ton of twig blights, which I think only have like, where are they at? Like 4 hit points. But I decided that while they're in this little room, from the other direction, 4 twig blights come in the room, and one of them has like a bow staff, one of them has like little things that look like sais, one of them has nunchucks, and then the other has what looks like 2 katanas. So their weapons aren't actual like metal weapons, they're just like their sticks that they're hitting people with. But for some reason in my head, I just thought it would be so funny to have twig blight ninja turtles fight the players. So the players are basically trying to clear out this place while also avoiding the burning building, and there's a mix of boars and anchorites, and the anchorites always use the max amount of their lightnings, which I enjoy. And I'm always like, so are you guys all in a line? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, or they've gotten to the point where they're like, we are all 6 feet apart. Okay, so for the magic items, I actually just ended up giving them the stuff that was listed in the book for that location. So even though the secret room got destroyed and the items in it probably would have got destroyed, I just figured, let's give them these items from this map. I don't know, maybe I'm soft. So as the building burns down, and we're basically like, I don't want to say everybody's over this map, but we do just kind of want to move on. And there's supposed to be, I believe there's some sturges at the end of it, and I love those, but I have like a herd of them flying away in the distance. But this episode, or session, right, I consider it like an episode, ends on the most awesome cliffhanger, and it's only for me. The players don't know. So if you remember, each time there's a scene change, you roll a d20 to see where the dragon will be, and I rolled a 14. So these guys are eager to get back home to Phandalin, and the dragon's gonna be waiting there for them. And I rolled that and I was just like, yes. They're getting more and more powerful, which means that this encounter could actually go either way, depending on how they encounter them. So that session 36 is the dragon in Phandalin, and it's probably one of the most awesome like battles and turn of events that I've done. I was very proud of it. So that is session 36. So stay tuned for that because it was a blast. So thank you for watching, and again, stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.